Hello and welcome to the Roughneck Minute, a Movies by Minute podcast where we do the movie Starship Troopers 1 minute at a time. I'm one of your hosts, Matthew.
And I'm your other host, Johann.
And we're at minute 98. This minute begins with Xander going back up to the cockpit and ends with, "She who must not be named," saying fleet is mobilized for a big offensive.
Yeah, she is pretty offensive.
Anyway, so the whole entire situation with Johnny Dizzy is pretty much over. Xander bolts for the cockpit, I guess, to... None of these guys are strapped in, and they're, probably going supersonic right now to get out of the atmosphere. That's not a safe thing.
See, here's the thing, though. When you're in space, it's not like you're going to... Well, if you get into a collision... You're pretty much done for anyways.
Yeah, I know, but what I'm saying is they're probably if they're hitting some chop like what's her face from Aliens, says they're going to be knocking all over the cabin.
I guess that's true, but I don't know. Since it's kind of like an emergency, maybe they didn't put in the proper seats that they needed, etc. Because no one has the seats. It looks like it's just a cargo. Like freight.
Yeah, they don't have those little whatchamacallit, those shoulder harnesses or whatever the heck they are that just folded down and strapped them in.
Yeah, I noticed that Ace only has one that's standing next to him, but maybe it's designed to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Like that one is just designed to be at that spot. If you're watching anything. But I think all the other seats for all the troopers, that gets placed in, and there was just no time to put that in.
Yeah, probably. And as you said, they're in there really quick. They needed to get out of there real quick as well too. So I don't think safety is their number one thing, even though they have a now dead person who was critically in trauma on a crazy, jumpy, turbulent ship.
Yeah, and
whatever.
And I don't expect Xander to have his seatbelt on, anyways, because he did also the same as the soldiers. He just jumped back into that container there.
Yeah, I mean, so he jumps back up into the compartment, and he does, I guess, flip on the fasten seatbelt sign and be like, "I guess we need to get regulation now. No smoking, no fasten your seatbelts." Yeah.
So, in the script wise, not a whole lot happens as well. Other than, I think it happens more at the end of the minute, so we can just keep going and I'll tell you when it kind of changes, but it's just weird. It's jumbled around. Like the end of this minute is actually at the beginning of the minute in the script.
Cool.
Yeah.
I really, going through all these, the script and the minutes by themselves, I'm really interested in seeing a second version of this movie, kind of just made with really, really bad, what is it? The cell design photos or whatever it is. What is it called when they do storyboards?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like actual things done with storyboards that are supposed to be the stuff that they cut out and the regular stuff, just kind of mixed in,
Yeah.
That'd be kind of neat.
The only thing I see weird is she who must not be named, as she's breaking orbit, is not paying attention to where she's going.
No, and we just got to come out and say it. It's Carmen. She's back. She's the crazy pilot. Ugh.
Yeah.
But I do like her outfit. It makes her look a little, I don't know, drone-ish.
Yeah. It looks like my first army costume, because none of it looks official like the rest of the troopers do, but they're like, here, you gotta suit up, and they're like, so they have these super clean, super nice gear. It just doesn't look right on a fleet personnel.
I mean, it looked cool on Xander just because, I mean, he didn't have the helmet on, but with the helmet on, it kind of looks weird. So, you know what it reminds me of? Did you ever, as you and I were both brought up in like the church, whether it be Catholic or Protestant or whatever it is, did you ever see those little toy sets that was like the armor of God, but it was actually like little plastic armor?
Yes.
That's what this reminds me of. So Carmen has her her helmet of virtue, her breastplate of righteousness, and everything like that.
God, I forgot about that stuff.
I actually wanted one of those when I was little.
No,
I was like, this is cool, but
no.
it wasn't because I was like a little religious nut, which I kind of was at a certain point when I got a little older. But it was because this thing looked like a centurion armor, and I wanted to be like, no, I want to play Gladiator. This is awesome. And this was way before the the Russell Crowe movie came out and everything. But I thought, Romans and Gladiator stuff was really cool still.
Yeah, I guess, but oh, man.
Brought you back, didn't I?
Yeah. God.
Well, Xander then tells her, "Hey, I think you should know, but your friend Rico's back there."
I know, and just that look on her face, like she's like,
"Wait, what? He is?" And like her eyes get all big. She's like, "Whoa, he is. I have someone else I can control again."
Yeah, it's not somebody else. She's just like, kind of like, when you bring your top earner back in a stable.
Okay.
She's just like, yeah, back under control. So
one thing I noticed too, that actually I've been noticing this whole entire, when we've been going over this particular minute, the thing over Carmen's head. What is that? That looks like an upside down fire. What is it?
I
smoke
was
detector.
just thinking that.
It's an upside down smoke detector with no 9-volt battery in it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, and then just painted.
Yes, that is a portion that goes on the wall, just turned upside down. I was like looking at that, going like, that looks a lot like a fire alarm.
It does. It's weird.
Ugh. That I guess is just for cosmetic, but really, you could have just turned that around. I mean, they could use a fire detector or a smoke alarm.
I don't even think that's what it is. I think it's just to make the whole entire cockpit look a little more techy and like. So one thing I did notice, like besides that little fire extinguisher thing, or not fire extinguisher, the fire detector. There's tons of wires, and if you're in like a 0G, place, you don't want to have like out of place wires or wires that you can run into and sometimes maybe pull out. But there are tons of wires in this skyhook.
Yeah, but they're wrapped up in the like the couplings or whatever that they're called. It looks a lot like the exposed walls of a house.
Yeah, I know, but that's the thing. Like, why still have it then if it's exposed? They could just put it like a panel over it.
Well, that's the thing. The chairs used to be there.
I suppose.
Like maybe the like I'm not necessarily being devil's advocate, but the chairs have to plug into something for to initiate or to engage the shoulder things.
So one thing, thank you for that. Actually, kind of brought me up to something too. Do you see the hazard or the caution tape kind of below where Carmen's shoulder is?
Oh yeah.
So what I'm thinking is, because you said that sometimes these things are modular. Maybe the skyhook, that's the part right there where it can close off and like detach that cargo container out. So you ever see those, giant helicopters that are able to lift up like actual trailers and everything? They have like the cockpit and then the back of it is like empty, but it can be filled up with something else.
Yeah.
I think it's like called Sky Crane or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what the Skyhook and the Viking were kind of based off of, just because the fronts of them and the cockpits and everything kind of look kind of similar. And if you took those cargo containers / personnel containers off, it kind of looked the same.
Well, also I think like the tape is obviously guide to where your head, as you're going down so you don't bump your head into it because everything is gray.
Yeah.
But do you think that where the tape is on the inside of the cockpit or the part of the box itself where everything is?
I think it's going to be on the inside of the compartment. I think it's like up right now because, as we'll see in a second, Johnny actually comes up stairs as well too. So maybe those stairs are a part of the box too.
So I'm trying to look at where the seam is of the entire thing, and I want to believe that the stairs is part of the cockpit.
Okay.
Because of where the instructions are. Because
yeah, you're right.
Because you would pull whatever that caution is, and that should be the signal within the cockpit. Like possibly it sets off the GPS tracker, or a signal flare, or it just shuts down the entire cockpit to, if there's what's it called, the loss of pressure, of air pressure or cabin pressure. Like it would shut down and close off the entire cockpit.
Yeah, like an airlock. It's pretty much an airlock, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that portion there is inside the cockpit.
I think so as well, too.
All right.
Well, so Rico comes up to the cockpit and he
super mad.
Oh, yeah, he doesn't even care who the pilots are. I think he does notice Xander, but he doesn't care. He's like, get on the comms and tell Fleet to blast that rock.
Yeah, because when he starts to come up the stairs, Carmen already turns around. Like, all he sees is the helmet and Xander. That's all he sees.
Yeah. Well, then Xander turns around and says, well, on whose authority, Corporal? Because he still has that corporal rank from the day before when they were on Planet P. I'm sorry, they were on Tango Urilla. And he still hasn't gotten. It was only a field commission that he got that sergeant's promotion.
Yeah, which is within like a few hours of this actual rescue.
Yeah, but one thing I noticed off the bat, they got a sick sound system on this Skyhook. I mean, do you see that faceplate right there that has, the dials up and down, 1, 2, 3, 4. They had the 4 favorite buttons, and then they have. So also it looks like they have like little air vents for what, AC or heater or whatever it is.
Well, you have to have the AC and the heater, but those ones look like they came out of like a 1990, early 90s. Car.
Oh yeah. Not only that, but there's also a mini disc player again on each of their consoles as well too. You kind of see their little the round things, and they have the little rainbow kind of holographic thing.
Yeah, because I thought for a second that they stole the part of those vents from an actual plane, but no, those look like the vents from a car. Because it would have been ideal to just take the ones that are on planes, the dial that you turn and then air comes out. But no, those look like they come from a car. But I don't think that... I think that those are presets for like emergency bands instead of like presets to your favorite radio station.
Well, yeah, in the verse, of course it is, but in my mind, the Carmen's, blasts, and I still, what is it, the song from the very beginning, the David Bowie remix?
Okay, getcha.
Yeah. I'm thinking she's just listening to the Starship Troopers OST.
Now, here's one thing I think is really, really cool about the HUD on this one. Mm-hmm. The screen right above the preset station, the one that you called the radio, it's displayed on the windshield.
Yeah. So this is either one of two things. They either actually had a plexiglass window, which doesn't seem like it would be a good idea because of filming and everything. If you're filming them straight on, like later on in this minute, you would do. Or it's a computer-generated screen reflection, which is awesome if that's the case.
Yeah, in the verse of Starship Troopers, I think it's more of the latter, because the part of the thing that makes me think that it's the latter is the fact that they're filming onto a green screen.
Yeah.
So they're just looking at green at this point. So I think that they just decided to put that HUD up there because it would make sense if you're flying to... Well, it makes sense with a car now. That when you see those displays of like how fast you're going reflected onto the glass, that it's just technologically more efficient than having to look down all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that this part was created in the effects process just to make it more realistic or make it more futuristic, and now we just caught up to it.
Oh, you're thinking it's like a heads up display, like it would be on a visor. No, it's a reflection. It's a legit reflection because at 1 hour 37 minutes and 27 seconds, you see Xander's screen as well too. There's actually a shield around the skyhook. It looks like, but right above that screen, it's reflected and it's upside down.
Oh shoot! Yeah, you're right.
No, what I was saying was because they filmed from straight on from the skyhook. This is a computer generated reflection. Because if you're filming straight ahead, you don't want to shoot through plexiglass or any kind of like, glass or anything like that. You're going to get a glare if you have lighting or anything like that. So this definitely looks like a computer generated screen on their skyhook.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
Yeah. No, I really do like that. Again, they probably have the same kind of like heads up display like that the regular troopers would have, like in those helmets, I'm thinking as well too, because they need some way to check their altimeter and everything else, because on Xander's screen, it doesn't look like he has like any kind of speed or altitude or heading or anything like that. It's just shield, the kind of like top-down view of the skyhook itself, and on the other one it just looks like a ballista numbers and coordinates kind of thing. So I'm thinking either they have this like, again, inverse, probably they have like implants to help them see that kind of stuff on their eyes, kind of like, I don't know, like a Black Mirror episode or something like that, or and that's pretty much it, like the troopers have, like it for aiming.
Okay, I see what you're saying then.
So yeah, it'd be like, it's just a heads up display, but on your eye. It's Google Glass basically.
Yeah.
But in your eye.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, that it is a reflection on it, but it means there's a little bit more space on the cockpit.
Yeah,
because it's really far up.
It's not 1-to-1, unfortunately. It looks like it's a little bit off center, or I'm not off center, but just like a little bit high. The reflection is, so I don't think they got it exactly right. As long as it looked like a reflection, you could kind of trick the eye into thinking, oh no, there's glass there.
Yeah, but the thing is well, the reason why I was wondering if it was a heads up and not the fact that there was that much room because of the way it was shot, is because of the scene when they actually drop down. There isn't that much room. No, for sure. When you see the actual skyhook actually landing, there's just like a huge dashboard. And it just, I guess like maybe they were just filmed at two completely different times with a different, what's it called? Set for that scene. Because now with this, the reflection on the windshield or whatever, it just gives it that there's so much room, like the actual Roger Young, where there's two people that sit up front.
Yeah,
but this one, it makes it seem like there's like way more space in the front.
No. I get that, and they probably just have a bunch of like weird stuff up there too in the verse.
I guess. So what? Okay, so because it's kind of gone to the part where they're kind of arguing about whose order it is to glass a planet.
Mm-hmm.
I think I briefly mentioned in the last minute where Johnny talks about glassing the planet when the medics go to help Diz.
Yes.
So at this point, this is where it's weird. This is when he finds out it's Xander.
Oh.
So that's why I can't remember if we mentioned it on the last episode, which is really bad of me right now.
No. We did. We discussed how he goes up to the cockpit first, talks to them, and then comes back, and Dizzy's actually dying, and then they move on to the next person who's a casualty.
Yeah. Okay. So, after he tells him who's authority, and then he reveals it's Xander, the pilot turns around and it's Carmen. So that's when the reveal is to the audience that it's Carmen. We're not...
Dun, dun, dun.
I know. Or dun, dun, dun. So, Carmen tells Johnny, I thought you were dead. And then Johnny says, I'm not, but a lot of my soldiers are. Glass a planet. Johnny leaves, and Carmen punches up the fleet command. It's the same thing where someone tells the Roger Young that there's an inbound shuttle, but it says the name of the shuttle is Deruyter, Deruyter. An official request from mobile infantry to bombard planet P-11. And then he goes back to Diz to try and see what's going on. And then Diz passes. And when Diz passes, Carmen comes back to where all the soldiers are, and then she tells him negative on your request. Fleet Command has a battle group on standby. And then Carmen sees that Dizzy's lying there dead. Not when Xander tells Carmen that when she says your friend is back there or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So she knows that Carmen is dead at this point. She says, I'm sorry.
You mean Dizzy's dead?
Or yeah.
We wish Carmen was dead.
I know. All right. So wishful thinking on that. So Carmen finds out then that Dizzy's dead. She says, I'm sorry. Johnny says, we got to choke on the mud and the blood, and Fleet can't be bothered to spit. I don't know what that is.
It basically means that it's kind of the same thing that Johnny actually says at pretty much at close to the very end of this minute, which is pretty par for the course. Kind of the same thing. MI does the flying and Fleet does. I'm sorry. MI does the dying and Fleet does the flying. Basically meaning that no matter what, Fleet is not going to get their hands dirty, but the mobile infantry always does.
Oh, I know, I get that, but it's just the rhythm of we got to choke on the mud and the blood, and the Fleet can't be bothered to spit. Mm-hmm. It just feels like it's supposed to belong to a quote of something.
Oh, I know.
You know, it's not just. It doesn't sound like something you just come up and say.
Man, Eddie Neumeyer is kind of a weird guy as we go along.
Yeah. So, yeah, that is true. So at this point, that's where we're kind of heading up to the end of the minute, where Carmen says, no, I think something's up. The Sky Marshal's here. And that's where they point out all the ships.
Whoa. Yeah, no, there's no Sky Marshal, unfortunately, but Dizzy does say, I'm sorry, not Dizzy. Gosh, again, wishful thinking.
Yep.
After Rico does say, MI does dying and Fleet does a flying, Carmen does turn around and tell him, hey, hold on a second. Fleet is all, everything is all, the Fleet's assembled. They only do this for a big kind of op, so something's going on.
Yeah.
And that's where that minute ends, basically, man. I really like this minute just because Johnny Casper does look like legitimately upset, and he looks pretty cool too.
Yeah,
like he kind of looks a little bit handsome.
Yeah, he has that leadership quality about him right now, and I think that's what you're attracted to. You like a man that's taking charge at this point.
I think it's a little bit of the hair too. He's giving me a little bit of a Finn Balor kind of hair.
Finn has a close cropped hair.
Yes.
It's not like Johnny's.
Well, it reminds me a little bit of it. It may have been that, but I was also listening to a podcast today where they also kind of offered up a point, like if there would be maybe a promo or a video package of just Finn taking a shower. Would you watch that? And I said probably. Like slow-mo shower, just like, having water go over his King's Hawaiian abs.
Huh. I gotta think about that.
Yeah.
Because
Finn's a good looking guy.
yeah, he is. But then at the same time, if I saw that, I'd feel very ashamed of my body because he's a very fine looking specimen of a man.
Yeah, I mean, like, again, I got to shout out to them because I do Patreon them and everything like that, but they're the Comedians of Wrestling podcast.
Yeah.
They're pretty good. They're UCB dudes, and they're really good. But one of the co-hosts did say, if I had Finn's body, I would not get out of the shower. I'd just look at myself and wash my body all day. And they would be like, well, wouldn't you, like, show it off? He's like, nah, man, that's just for me.
See, but I've been a Balor fan for, like, years.
Yeah, since NXT.
Since NXT. I think
since I got back into wrestling, I mean, I had to get into him.
Yeah, and I think he's gotten better looking now, because now he's definitely on the big programs and whatnot.
I'm just so glad he got rid of the demon, like, look.
I loved it.
I don't like the Jamaica hair.
That part was dumb. But where he just has the makeup.
Yeah, the makeup's cool.
Yeah.
Like when he does the makeup with not the hair and everything, that looks awesome.
Yeah, I love the demon. The demon is so cool.
But I do like his blue undies, his blue, leather and everything, his blue pant or blue shorts, and he just comes out like that, and that's perfectly fine too. They kind of shorten his music.
Yeah. So, well, not to get completely derailed, because Finn Balor is amazing. He needs
Welcome to Wrestling Minute, where we talk about wrestling for 1 minute.
Yeah, but he needs a better finish, though.
Yeah, honestly, the coup de grace is pretty good, but it's not that good.
No, he needs a new finish.
Yeah.
But anyways, to get back to the minute, at like 37:39, there's something here that's weird. So, Carmen takes off her helmet, and Johnny kind of does a double take, like, the back of the head looks so familiar. It's like, you just want to go like, Johnny, there will only be one reason you'd be familiar with the back of the head, and that's not a good thing to do in this movie.
Well, so I just looked at it too. He does notice her back of the head, and then when she turns around, he kind of lifts his head up a little bit. He's like, it's you.
Yeah.
But his face doesn't change.
But also, here's the thing that I think is really weird that he recognized her from the back of the head. She's never had that hair in the entire movie.
Yeah.
So, I think the double take should have happened when she turned around. I think that's a bit of a goof. Like, you shouldn't be able to recognize someone that way. Like, the hair's done completely different, and it's a little bit weird to recognize someone from the back of the head.
No, it for sure is.
And then at 37:40, Xander looks pretty mad that they're all in the cockpit together right now.
Yeah. Like, son, I know you want your wings, but you gotta go sit down like a good little pilot, all right?
Yeah. So...
Also, so do you have anything else you want to say about this particular minute? Because we're pretty much at the end.
Yeah, in the script, I hate...
Oh, yeah, very end.
I hate this part that it was added in the script, but I'm glad it was removed. So Carmen says, I thought you were KIA, Johnny. Johnny says, that was a mix-up. Carmen says, you look so... I don't know. You look like you've really been in it. You just rescued him from, like, being surrounded by a million bugs. Jesus Christ. And then Johnny says, what happened to your eye? Carmen touches a scar over her eye. And then Carmen says, almost got knocked out of the sky over Big K. We all remember that. We thought she died. Johnny says, I like it. It's kind of you. You just saw Diz pass away not even a minute ago, Johnny. Screw you at this point.
I am glad it is in a cut version of the script.
Yeah. But one of the things about the script that makes it weird that he mentions that scar, I'm just thinking it should have been bigger, which in the script it was. She did smash her face on the side of like a console, so it's supposed to be like a pretty big gash. And in this one, we did mention before that she just got this tiny, dainty little Band-Aid of a thing. But really, it's supposed to be, I guess, like the way it was envisioned, was it supposed to be like a pretty gnarly scar. Like, I mean, I'm not saying like Bishop and X-Men, but maybe the spark of like Cable.
Okay. That wouldn't be bad.
No, it would have been a lot better than this tiny little scar.
Yeah.
Because I have a ton of scars on my body, and there's nothing like someone saying like, "Oh, you wouldn't believe how I got this one, corner of a table." And like, oh, this one, like I had 23 stitches on my forehead alone.
Yeah, right.
So I'm glad it was removed, because first off, the Johnny shouldn't be trying to flirt with Carmen right now, but also it's such a minuscule damage compared to what Johnny's actually seen, that even if he saw it, he'd be like, "Looks like you've, maybe you held the hair dryer too close to your face, Fleet." But
oh, that's great.
I'm just glad it was removed, because it wasn't even that big of a deal.
No, it really wasn't, and I'm glad they got rid of it as well too.
Yeah. So right where this minute ends is like the view from the cockpit of like in the script, it's supposed to be 100 ships strong, 15 battle groups, 100 ships strong, lay off Planet P, all of them dwarfed by the Sky Marshal's flagship, the Buenos Aires.
Aww,
Yep.
Good for them.
So they're supposed to be, like all of these ships we see here, they're supposed to be one even bigger ship.
Yeah.
And it's called the Buenos Aires.
Well, there are bigger ships in the verse as well too. We just don't see them. They're later on in like the second and third movie and everything. But in the first one, all we see are the Corvettes.
Yeah, but just to imagine that there is one, like these are supposed to be dwarf compared, like all of them together are dwarf compared to this giant battleship.
So yeah, it's basically the Superstar Destroyer.
Yeah, it's like saying like, oh, do you want to compare size of the pod racer to the Death Star? Mm-hmm. Like type thing. Like this thing is supposed to be one massive ship, but I'm guessing they didn't have the budget to create that size of a ship, considering most of these ships here were done as a model, not as a CGI.
Yeah.
Because that would have to be one gigantic ship to try and also make it look like it's in the distance.
Mm-hmm.
So, oh well. That's the end of the minute.
Yeah. One thing I want to bring up, though, before we close it out, I love the scan lines on the CRT screen. It brings me back. Because we see the Captain Delaire, but she's got the 400 by 600 screen right there, scan lines and everything. I'm like, ooh, that's some nostalgia right there.
Yeah, it looks like the FMVs of the Red Alert Command and Conquer.
Oh,
remember where they used to have them like, hey, here's part of the mission.
Yeah.
It looks like that.
It's great.
Yeah. Makes me think like right before she starts speaking, like you should see like the tracking like in white letters come up, and you see the different colors showing up.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I'm hoping for that exact thing. Oh gosh, but yeah, that's where that minute ends, guys. Where can they find you, Mr. Han?
You guys can find me on Twitch and Instagram at JDASHD26. Lately, I've been streaming Monster Hunter. I'm completely obsessed with the game. It's super fun.
Did you get the Aloy skin?
Yes, I did get the Aloy skin. I also got the cool guy sunglasses. I'm trying to get the Palico head. I got the I got the Wiggler head, which is
Wiggler head's cool.
Yep. The game is just super fun. I'm loving it, and there's more stuff coming out for that game. It's something I would highly recommend for people to get right now.
I just gotta wait for the BC release.
Yep. And you can also find me on Twitter at OMG It's Johann.
And you guys can find me at AltTabMatt pretty much anywhere on the internet. Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, what have you. I've been recently twitching Ghostmaster, which is an older game that I remember back from 2002. Real fun game, but kind of like not for everyone. It's kind of like XCOM, but with ghosts.
Ooh, that's cool.
But it's not like, turn-based or anything like that. It's just like an RTS inside a house. Think The Sims / XCOM, but, RTS style.
Yeah, that sounds really cool.
It's pretty neat. And it's a real nostalgia trip for me. I'm like, ooh, this is cool. But you guys can follow the show itself at The Roughneck Min on Twitter, MIN. You guys can go to our website, theroughneckminute.podbean.com, for any past episodes or show notes. You guys can also follow the Facebook group at the Roughneck Minute Billet, Billet, to continue the conversation and talk about anything else like Finn Balor's, hot bod, or amazing FMV videos that include, Ric Flair. He was in the, I think, Command & Conquer 4.
Oh, yeah.
Red Alert. With Tim Curry as well, too.
Tim Curry.
Fun fact, he doesn't remember doing those FMVs at all. Like, he was just completely, blitzed out of his mind that he didn't remember doing it.
That's so cool.
Good on Ric Flair, man. Tap out at 3.
Yep.
I mean, not tap out, kick out at 3.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, you can also subscribe, rate, and review us on any podcatcher you guys can find, whether it be iTunes, Google Play, Podcatcher, Podcast Addict, or whatever it is. But guys, thank you so much for listening to us. I've been one of your hosts, Matthew.
And I've been your other host, Johann.
And we will see you on the bounce, troopers.